Hello, clowns.
I'm Ami.
I'm Yu Chen, and we're the hosts of Clown Vibes Podcast.
We're two best friends who are chronically online and get together weekly to laugh and discuss all the clown behavior we see on the internet.
And there's so much.
Truly so much.
We're so glad to have you here to clown around with us, and we hope you enjoy the episode. Hi, clowns, and welcome to an in-person episode of Clown Vibes Podcast.
Whoop, whoop. Getting here was the biggest struggle, and I think we used all of our one combined brain cell to make this happen.
To make this specific episode happen.
Yeah, and I would just like to say that the audio interface industry
needs help.
You've got to get better FAQs, and you've got to get a better educational material.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, why are you in SF?
I came to beat Bob and visit you.
And bopped we did.
And bopped we did. We made charm bracelets.
I'm not. I took mine off.
Oh.
I took my mom off to sleep with, so I was like, I don't know what's going to happen.
Okay, fair. I did sleep with my charm bracelet, and it's intact, so I think it was pretty good quality.
Yeah, I think so. It's so funny because, like, I think about that store that we went into, and I'm like, will they still be around if charm bracelets didn't take off?
I don't know.
Yeah, it was such a fad, right?
Yeah, it's such a fad. But, like, I mean, we're at the very end of this fad, I think, and we're still going, so.
Exactly. For those of you who are watching our video version, I finally moved into a new apartment. I feel like I've been complaining about moving for like 2 years or something, but I finally did. I think it's at our age, it's actually a really scary thing to move. Actually,
yeah.
At any age after you've accumulated 3 years worth of stuff.
Yeah.
It's just a nightmare to move. And I finally did, and Ummi will not stop yapping about how much better of a place this is.
It is night and day difference, and I'm so glad you moved.
Yeah, so hopefully a different scenery for our Clown Vibes episodes. We're planning to do hopefully a few other in-person shows with zero in-person viewers, a couple of in-person recordings soon when I visit her in Dallas, and it's going to be fun. Season 3 is going to be fun. We had a working session at an office this week.
We rented an office just to have our working session.
Exactly.
And as CFO, that was not in the budget, but we did it.
Speaking of SF, Ami has been personally victimized by the weather in SF and Carl the Fog.
Yes, it was so cold yesterday. First of all, I packed like a fool. I packed like an idiot. And I didn't realize it was going to be cold. And yesterday, I was chilled to the bone. When we came back, I like couldn't even move. I was so frozen.
The funny thing is, you didn't tell me you were so frozen, and you were eating ice cream. Okay. I was just like, I think she's okay. She's eating ice cream.
I can eat ice cream at any time. Also, it was a very specific ice cream that I never get. So I was like, this is my only opportunity, and I've got to power through.
So now that you are chilled to the bone, does this mean that you can be a little bit more productive since it's easier to work when it's cold than hot?
No, it's actually never easy for me to work. My brain is never ready to work.
We're recording this in the summer. Who knows when this is going to be released? Probably when it's still hot in Texas.
Yeah, of course, when it's still hot in Texas.
And we've just been chatting about how it sucks to work in the summer.
It absolutely sucks to work in the summer.
I've been saying this since May, though. So
I say this all year round.
It's hot all year round, and I just feel like it sucks to work all year round.
Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, I do think the extra heat adds just that layer of like uncomfortableness.
Yeah.
Like my apartment gets so hot because I have so much light. It's kind of like your old apartment sometimes in the afternoon, but then I'm such a cheapo and I don't want to put the AC down.
Okay, what I think is really hard is, especially this summer, is the Summer Olympics.
Yeah.
Where you just want to like put it on the TV and like watch the Summer Olympics. Or everyone and their mother is on vacation, including us. We were both on vacation for a while.
Yeah.
Mentally, we were on vacation for longer.
Yeah. I'm mentally always on vacation.
Yeah. So it's like equally hard to this summer specifically to work.
Yeah, agreed. Yes. And I also was so into watching the Euros this year.
What's the Euros?
Like the soccer.
Oh, the soccer.
Tournament. So this whole summer I just been watching stuff on TV.
Yes. Anyway, should we get into our main topic for this episode?
Yes, let's. So speaking of hating work, which actually we do every episode, so this might not have been a teaser for this episode, but we have been talking so much lately about like different trends in the workplace and especially the summer trends lately that we've been seeing, and how there are so many different like buzzwords all the time. New buzzwords.
And I relate to every single one of them.
Yeah, and currently the newest form of quiet something is quiet vacationing, which is where you vacation without telling your, I guess, like company, and you're working from vacation basically.
You know what I have been seeing, because okay, we both work at a remote company.
Yeah.
A lot of my coworkers who do go on like longer vacations, I always see them logging in for like the first half of their vacation, or they're like truncating their vacation so that they're doing partially on vacation, but partially like working super odd hours. And I just like, I know to my bones that like I can't do that. But you've done that before, right?
Yeah, I just did it.
You just did it. Would you recommend?
Okay, so I just went to Finland, and I think like in Finland it was actually pretty doable. One, because we were in the Arctic Circle during my working days.
Yeah.
And the sun never set. So it never really felt like I was missing out on time that we could be out, because you could be out the whole fucking day.
Yeah.
I'm very lucky that my team is so chill. And so half the time I was like working from the like sauna bar lake thing that we went to every day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
so
nice.
I had 2 days of really serious work where like one day I was on the train, and one day we did go back to the hotel and like actually worked. But the other 2 days were like a little bit more lax, so it was doable. But it is exhausting to plan around and have to be like, okay, I need real Wi-Fi from like these times for sure.
I just feel like vacations are so expensive. You put so much thought into like your housing, your flights, that like I don't want to be thinking about work. Like vacation to me is vacation.
Yeah.
But obviously like some people, that's a luxury in itself, and like you don't have enough vacation days, etc. And so then they turn to quiet vacationing. And like with the whole unlimited PTO like trend, which do you think that's here to stay? Like,
yeah, for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
I almost am afraid it's going to be like remote working, where suddenly like 5 years down the line, people are going to be like, nope, we're going back to how it used to be.
No, it won't, because it's really good for the company to not have actual PTO, to accrue it, have to pay it out. Like unlimited PTO is for the companies, by the companies.
Don't be fooled.
Yeah, this is not for us.
Okay, and so basically they're not telling their team, their managers, that they're going on vacation.
Yeah.
And if it's like a lighter week, they just are out, maybe log in, maybe like check their Slack messages every hour or so just to appear online.
Yeah.
I don't know who called this out. Have companies picked up on it, or is this self-proclaimed, we're doing this and this is the trend?
I think it's made by LinkedIn influencers.
LinkedIn influencers are so weird.
So weird. And I think they're just like creating terms that have been happening forever for things that like are normal.
But would you ever quiet vacation?
No, because I don't need to. My team is so chill. They knew. Actually, like half of my team knew I was in Finland, half didn't, which is fine. But I would definitely tell them.
Here's the thing. I do think it's the like company, the job's fault if you don't have enough work for your employees.
Yeah.
Where they have the opportunity to quiet vacation. I've talked to quite a few people in tech here in San Francisco, and like one thing stood out to me. This one girl was just like, my manager, and like the office culture of their company is just that like you do your work whenever it suits you, as long as you get your work done. What I hated about like our internships at the beginning of our career, or just like corporate America at the beginning, like before remote working was ever a thing, it's like when we had nothing to do, we just had to be in the office and sit there. Like, that is a waste of my time.
No, totally. I spent so much money. I was so deep on like the dumbest Reddits where it's just like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I can't watch TV because that looks bad, and you have to pretend like you're busy, which I think was the fucking stupidest thing.
The dumbest thing. I spent basically all of my brain cells figuring out how to look busy.
Yes, and like how to make the day go by.
Yeah. Have you seen that Salesforce is forcing their Salesforce is forcing their employees to return to office? How do you feel about that?
It's sick.
Sick in the head. Anyways, I feel like that's been the trend. Like, everyone's minimum hybrid. The fact that we're both in remote jobs is like wild. Yeah. Actually crazy.
Agreed.
I feel like people are just really struggling with this new norm. By the way, I have never worked a job where I was in office 5 days a week.
I have.
Which job?
I'm PwC and EY.
Oh.
Like, I would either go to the client 5 days a week or go to the office. Actually, like on one project, we had a work from home Fridays. And then there was this like internal deadline they set, and we didn't meet it because it was impossible. And also, like, it was stupid. And then they were like, you guys aren't working hard enough. We're going to take your Friday work from home away, which is bullshit. And actually made me really angry. And I was like, all right, well, I was actually working a lot from home, but now I'm just going to fuck around in the office.
I do miss fucking around in the office.
I do.
It's fun.
Yeah.
And now I don't have that anymore, so let me do it at home.
Literally. Okay, the reason I like think return to office is sick is because it is not for any productive reason.
It's for financial reasons.
It's like this company has a lease that they want to feel like is being used, but it's a sunk cost, my guy.
Clown Vibe CFO.
Clown Vibe CFO, learn from me, please. That's fucking stupid. Sell the office, do something else with it. That's not doing anything. Half the time, people are going into the office and like not even working with other people. You're still just working at your desk, doing calls on your desk.
Yeah,
you
like
do that at home.
Your entire team is in another city.
Yeah.
What's the difference between you being in the office?
Exactly.
And then that has led to, I think this is a funny term, but coffee badging. People are so creative. I would have never thought to do this because I'm a goody two-shoe and I hate that about myself.
I would have been doing it.
Really? You would do it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. If we work together, you would just be like, you shouldn't give me your badge. I'll do it for
literally. You would benefit from me working with you because I'm always trying to slack as much as possible.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Actually, if we work together, I would need to mute you sometimes. I would need to.
I know, all day I'd be like, what are you doing? Do you want to just get on a call and chit chat?
Did we ever explain what coffee badging is?
No,
to the people?
Please explain to the crowd.
I hope I'm explaining it right, but essentially, like, companies are literally tracking your badges, how frequently you go into the office. So you have to like swipe in, swipe out. And so what people are doing is they're going in, swiping their badge so that they're like being counted and it's not counting against them, grabbing a coffee and then swiping out. Technically, you are in the office, but I feel like it's really easy for the company just to like change the KPI to like you have to be in the office for at least 4 hours.
No, but like half the time you're not swiping out, right?
Oh, you're not, right?
We didn't swipe out at work, like at our jobs. So it's only the swipe in that's counting.
Yeah.
And I think they termed it coffee badging because like sometimes people would just get coffee, but like also you could just swipe in, walk inside and walk out. Actually, last year when I went to visit my cousins for a wedding, like it was in their city, we went to my cousin's office before one of the events so he could just badge it.
It feels so dumb because I feel like what people hate about working in an office is the commute.
Exactly.
It's not actually about the office. Like, it's fine, but it's like the time that you're wasting commuting, getting there. Like, once you're there, like, whatever. It's a desk. Like, I'm going to work there.
Yeah.
Leave for lunch, come back, like, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like the commute that is so difficult.
Agreed.
Like, and it's because we have poor public transportation in the United States. Just want to throw that out there.
Like we said, we got an office on Friday for Clown Vibes working session, aka we just like went with someone we know to a corporate office that allows guests. And
it was nice.
It was so nice. And when we were there, I was like, man, I like having
we were
an
productive,
office sometimes. Yeah, we were super productive. Also, we were together, which is why.
It is great for collaboration.
Yeah, we were talking about it, and we often have like, let's have a serious clown vibes call tonight, but it's not as serious as our working session was in person.
Yeah, but we would have never got what we got done had we been remote and trying to do it.
Exactly.
So I do see their point. I think what's like difficult is when you've been at a company and you started at the company like fully remote.
Yeah.
And they're not giving you a long enough runway to change your behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to leave the company, the severance must be good. For example, if you've been fully remote and you live in like Texas and you work at Amazon, which is in Seattle, and they give you like 2 months to make that change, like you better just fire me and give me really great severance.
Yeah, no, totally. And it's just like, you can't say, hey, now everyone in this area needs to come to the office 4 times a week. It's exhausting. Like us going to that office, it was a Friday, so it like inherently feels a little bit more chill. Like the commute wasn't too bad, but had you said, hey, let's go every day that you're here, I'd have been like, no chance.
Well, you've been trying to go pretty much every day, but that's because
they give us a lot of free shit.
Yeah.
And I love free stuff, but okay, we could have, I guess, gone today. No way that I was actually going to get up to go.
No, because the time that we're recording right now is what people use to commute.
Yeah.
And we're using it to be productive.
Exactly.
And that's the benefit of remote working. I think this kind of brings us to our next topic, kind of like what prompted this entire discussion. But I saw a trend a while back about climbing down the corporate ladder.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was like an article or something. You know, those like articles always get me. I'm just like, yeah, someone else is thinking for me.
Correct.
These like corporate terms, the minute you say them, like I don't know who's in charge of corporate terms marketing, but like it just makes sense. I didn't even really have to explain coffee badging, and I'm sure people understood it, but like climbing down the corporate ladder, the thought has never crossed my mind, but the minute I heard it, I was like, yes, this thought process is for me. I'm for it.
Interesting. I think about it all the time.
Even before it became a term?
Yeah.
Oh, but doesn't having like an official term for it just make it sound like all the more tangible?
Yes, because previously when I thought about it, and I would talk about it with some coworkers, it was always kind of frowned upon. So climbing down the corporate ladder, which is pretty self-explanatory, but like if you don't know, it means not caring so much about your upward progression and kind of being okay with chilling where you are, or chilling in middle management, basically.
One TikTok that has like stayed with me for years is this one TikTok about this woman who is a EA, like an executive assistant, or she is like a PM or something. And she has all these like side freelance jobs that together accumulate like a decent amount of income. And basically she's doing these like little tasks, getting to travel the world and just like living her life. And the reason why it just stuck with me is that kind of like going to business school and going to such a good business school where there's so much focus on your career, it would kind of be shameful to like have that type of career, or like that's what we're taught, right?
Yeah.
But is it? Because it sounds so nice.
No, that sounds amazing. And actually that could be my dream now.
Because you love little tasks.
I love little tasks. I used to tell people all the time, like, I wish I could be an EA and just make enough money to support the lifestyle I want.
Also, Ami is like an aggressive typer, and like you have the like
EA typing.
EA typing like skill. You are meant for it.
I know. Okay, but the like side things she does she like doing them? I don't want to have so many side hustles to like support my lifestyle, right? Like that seems exhausting.
Feels like it's just 5 clients or something like that. I don't know. I this was a long time ago. I'm sure many people have this type of career. Like this influencers have like this type of career. True. They have income from like so many different work streams. But then on the flip side, I am seeing this trend online where people who did like freelancing or like unconventional jobs are going back to corporate America because they like the consistency. So
and the stability.
Yeah. So it's kind of like it suits you and it doesn't. I wish I was the type to like be like, yeah, let me just try it
Yeah.
for a year,
I'm not.
but I don't think I could do it because I get so anxious if I don't have the stability. But like going back to business school, it never ever occurred to me that it was an option to stay at a certain level forever.
Yeah. Actually, I agree. Like when I was starting my career out, I was always like, okay, how do I get this next promotion?
Yeah.
And it wasn't until the last few years that I was like, no, I don't want that job.
Okay, well, we joined the workforce at an interesting time because we joined back in basically 2018, right before the pandemic. And when you first join like the workforce, you're not expected to get a promo immediately, right? But when we started to get promoted, that was a time when promotions were just like free for all.
Yeah.
Like everyone and their mother was getting promoted and fast, like multiple promos in a year. And even like today, this morning, while I was laying in bed, I saw this girl on Instagram that I remember like was fast tracking through school, but she's also a military wife. So living like kind of an unconventional life to like what a lot of people from business school end up going.
Yeah.
But like she was super successful and super serious. And I like looked her up on LinkedIn and I was like, oh, interesting. She's been at the same company for since she graduated, which I think is also really unconventional now for people our age. And like just looking at her promos, like she was at her last role for 4 years. So that seems like a slow promo, but I feel like that's normal. And we have just been conditioned, like seeing people older than us or seeing our peers get promoted so quickly during like the pandemic boom, but fake boom.
Yeah. And I think it's also, I think the comparativeness nature of our lives makes it where it's like, oh, well, they're at this age and they have this title. Why don't I have
be there?
that? Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I remember doing this Capital One summit thing where it's like a week and you get together with people. This was pre-graduating college.
Yeah.
And this one girl did end up going to Capital One. And every time, like she was getting promoted every single year. She's a senior director now or something crazy. And I remember speaking to a friend who also knew her. And I was just like, what is going on at Capital One? Like, are they just promoting like crazy? And he's like, no, it's just her. That is like that one crazy example.
Damn.
Everyone else is like still at the analyst level or something crazy like that. And I'm just like, the perception that social media or like LinkedIn gives you of like how fast you should be moving up a corporate ladder is so dependent and it feels like fake.
Yeah. And so company dependent of like what they think is the norm. And I struggle with this because even now I'll think back to, okay, like if I didn't leave Big Four, what would my title be? Like that's kind of where I should be. But that's fucking dumb and I don't care. And I actually had like a career discussion recently with my manager and she was like, okay, like do you want to get promoted soon? Like do we need to discuss how to do that? And I was like, no, I'm chilling. And like I can get promoted in a normal time frame. Like I don't need to speed it up. I don't even need to think about it right now. Like I just got to manager a year ago. I'm relaxed.
The thing is that climbing up the corporate ladder is celebrated, right? People want to celebrate your milestones. When they see that you climbed down the corporate ladder, it's just like, what? It's kind of like once you climb up, you
have to
climb
stay there.
down.
Yeah.
But we must normalize climbing down the corporate ladder because some of us have climbed up the corporate ladder way too fast.
Yes.
I saw this TikTok very recently of this girl who was like, when you hustle too hard when you were in your 20s and you made like director of marketing in your 30s. And marketing is like the wild, wild west.
Yeah.
I do not think I would ever want to work in a director of marketing role.
No.
But she made it at 30 and like she so desperately wants to climb down.
Yeah.
And like she's like saying how the pressure is too high. And when you climb up too fast, just think about it. We're turning 30 this year. We are not mentally ready to be a director of anything.
Also because we really like work-life balance.
Yeah.
We just have different priorities than a director would have. Not to say that there aren't director roles that do have work-life balance. Like, I'm really thinking, like, I never want to be a VP because that seems fucking atrocious. I never want to work that hard. I never want to be that stressed. Or, like, I can work that hard for things I care about. Like, I could work that hard for clown vibes. But, like, I don't want to work for, like, a man and it be so crazy where I am constantly
Losing
working.
hair.
Yeah, like hell no. That money is not even worth it.
Yeah. And to some people it is.
Yeah. It's
And
a
that's
personal
great
choice
for them. And I'm always thinking back about like how business school, we were all in the same level. Like if you go to business school, like you should be pining for principal, director, VP, etc. And now I'm just thinking like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like why? Like why didn't we have more examples of people who went a different path?
Okay. All of that to say, we have had a very intense mindset shift lately. Very intense.
Has it been a shift for you?
No. Okay, mine's been like this for a while, but U10 has finally seen the light and has had a shift in perspective lately.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean like I'm going to act on it immediately. Like I'm still working really hard at my job.
Anyone who's listening that we work with,
I will join our call. We are doing this before work hours. Like we're still committed. No, it's more about our like long-term career trajectory. I'm going to be so much less focused on climbing up a corporate ladder because I don't want to burn out. I've experienced burnout and it's not fun because once you get into the swing of things, if things are crazy, like it's hard to pull yourself out unless like you just randomly quit. And I feel like quitting is such like not in our DNA.
Yeah.
That it like that's not even an option. We don't have an option when we're burnt out or like things really aren't working for us. And I actually remember having a conversation with one of Nico's friends who did quit their jobs like a few years back because they were so burnt out. And I was basically asking him, like, walk me through your thought process. Like what led to like this being the last resort? And he was like, well, you tell me what you're thinking first.
Yeah.
And when I said like all these things that I'm struggling with, he was like, those are my exact same thoughts, which is scary to say. But then after vacation, I really did feel like I sharpened my knives a little bit. Like I do feel a lot more dialed in.
Yeah.
But like on my vacation was the first time I'm seeing like my mom's side of the family for 10 years. And it really gave me a lot of perspective about like how important family is, how important my health is, how important like a lot of these relationships that I haven't prioritized in the last few years have been. And like the reason why we haven't gone back in so long is A, because of COVID. Like that's a pretty big reason. But B, like my parents are prioritizing like my career, their career, Harry's school. And I didn't like that.
Yeah.
I remember speaking to my brother after our trip and he was like, I don't want to go back like 5-10 years later and not know, like not really remember what people look like or like pick back up from ground zero. Like I want to prioritize fostering these relationships. And I think that's so important.
Yeah.
And it's hard when you're so focused on climbing up the corporate ladder.
Totally. That's why we have made it such a big priority to go back to India every year.
When you're so deep into work and it feels like it's these like little tasks that or these like arguments or conflicts between teams or like external vendors, etc., that are in the moment like the worst things pop. They like ruin your day. When you take a step back, you're like, what are we upset about? Like literally, what are we upset about?
And like you do work external facing a little bit more. I mean, you fully work external facing almost. And I work so internal facing that anytime there's like something that it's like, we have a mad rush to get this, I'm just like, nah, I don't care.
What is the mad rush?
Yeah, like, okay, sure. Like, I'll do it. But for what?
Yeah. Are these timelines real or fake?
Yeah, sometimes literally.
Sometimes I feel like we're just creating fake scenarios in our head.
Yeah. Everything's fake. We're all in a simulation. I really wanted this episode to be an Are We Glitching episode, which U10 is the one who came up with that. And then she was like, I mean,
As
what
a
the fuck
joke.
would we say? And I'm just like, I don't know. We could pretend to be robots for an hour.
I gave you every single opportunity to prove to me that this would be a good episode, and you gave zero agenda or like outline or anything, and I was like, we're not doing this.
But all that to say, I think everything's fake, and lately especially I've just been reminding myself, like, I don't really care about this.
You know what my friend has said to me recently that has like shaken me to my core is she told me that I think I already told you this, but she's like, you're the person that's like anti-work the most, not hates work, like anti-work the most out of all my friends. And I'm like, what? Because I do enjoy working.
Yeah.
And so the fact that I, in her vicinity, am the one that's anti-work the most, like, man, everyone else must be chilling.
I think that's so funny. But I love that for you. And you need to lean into it.
Then I started asking, I was like, so why are they so anti-work? Like, what's their work-life balance like? And they only work like 20 hours a week. So if I only work 20 hours a week, I would also be okay with it.
Yeah. It's all about like what you care about in the moment. And I think you especially have been working so hard
this past
year. And it's crazy how much you've been working. I mean, not really. Like if we were in Big Four or whatever consulting, it would be so normal. But I think for working at a startup, that is not in any crazy kind of situation. Just too much.
I've also had the mindset or like the realization that careers are very lengthy.
Mm-hmm. You have so long.
I think I started to get worried that like, is this it? Like you just get more responsibilities after this. And now my mind is like, whoa, slow down. And that's why like I resonated with the climbing down the corporate ladder trend. I honestly don't think it's a trend. I think like a lot of people have been thinking it. We just have never collectively come up with a cute term for it to like circulate around social media.
Yeah. And I think it just is normalizing it a little bit more. Like most people who are having these like thoughts and maybe like small conversations, it's like not a celebrated topic or discussion. Just feel more empowered to be like, yeah, no, I don't like care to become CFO anytime soon. Or ever.
But I mean, you've already climbed to the top of the corporate ladder.
That's true.
You are Clown Vibes CFO. And now you must climb down.
I must climb down. I'm going back to co-host only. Just kidding. I already built out our spreadsheet, so there's nothing more for me to do anyway, besides police our spending, which I love doing. Thanks so much for listening. You can follow us on all social media at Clown Vibes Podcast or email us at clownvibespodcast@gmail.com.
And if you like our show and want to support us, please like, subscribe, and give us a rating and review. That's it for today. Bye, clowns.
Bye, clowns.